I'm patriotic. I'm a Brexiteer. If we've got to get out with no deal, we do.
Why?
And I am... Because I'm 70 years old.
Yeah.
I worked for Mullards, which was a Dutch-based firm. And they said, if I don't vote for Europe, I lose my job.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, I voted for Europe, not for them to control us. But...
Yes, but you just said we need to leave with no deal. I'm just wondering why.
I lost my job anyway, because it closed down in the end.
Yeah.
They went from one company to another. So I'm sorry.
So why does that mean why does that mean the whole country has to leave with no deal? I'm very sorry that you lost your job, but why would that make you vote for a policy that will mean lots of other people lose their jobs?
We have had bad times in this country and we've had good times, and I've gone through the lot, and we come out on top because of character. He's right. We can source stuff from the rest of the world.
What stuff?
Well, I'll give you an example.
Yes, do.
The guy who owns Wetherspoons.
Yeah.
When we got the vote that we wanted to come out, he started sourcing from other places in the world for a lot of his goods, and he wrote it in his magazine. That's where I read it from. Yeah. And he said he sourced goods. I think it was brandies, all sorts of spirits.
Was it cheaper than what he was getting from the European Union?
It was just as good.
So why wasn't he doing... You realise he was doing that before we left?
Because we were part of Europe.
Yes, but we still are. So why couldn't he have done that?
We've been conned.
Christine, just pause for a little moment, if you would. I'm going to take what you've said on trust. I'm sure that he did manage to secure...
Well, bring him on, interview him.
Absolutely, I will. I don't need to. I've got you here to represent him, but he's more than welcome to ring in, just as everybody else is. So... Your evidence that it's a good idea to leave is that he found cheaper drinks before we left.
And he passed it on. Well, they were all preparing if we left Europe.
But Christine, just again, I'm sorry, but you have to just reflect for a moment on what you've just said. We have to leave so that Tim Martin of Wetherspoons can do something he's already done. Yeah,
because he did it to prepare for... If we had
he could do it, Christina, I'm going to labour this point, and I do apologise because it's not going to be pretty, but we're still in the European Union.
We are at the moment.
And he did this thing you're telling me we have to leave the European Union to do.
No, what he says is an example of all the Ramonas who keep saying
No, Christine, stop using insulting language.
Okay, I won't use that.
He has done something.
I've been insulted because I'm a Brexiteer.
Well, I'm very sorry to hear that, but here's the thing, Christine. If this is the example you want to, if this is the bridge that you want to build, you've just told me that he's already done it.
Yes, because he's preparing for it.
Yes, but he's already done it, and we're in.
He has.
So we're in the European Union, right?
Yeah, we are at the moment,
and he's already done it.
Yes, because he foresaw the future.
Yes. So here's the question, Christine: Why do we have to leave to do something we could do while we were in it?
Because they're still controlling us. They've got no respect for this country. I've seen some of the things that have been going on.
Go on, tell me.
I love Britain. I love what it represents. I love what it gives to the rest of the world.
Well, you've hated it since 1975, though.
Pardon?
You've hated it since 1975.
No, because we weren't so controlled then.
So what are the
controls come in?
So talk me through. Actually, no, I'm not going to let that go, Christine. I think you need to take on board what you've said on national radio.
Yes, I am taking on board, because I was so furious when I was listening to it.
We have to leave the European Union because Tim Martin has done something while we were still in the European Union.
He did it because he prepared for us leaving, like a lot of other countries have done. But
how could he do it if we weren't allowed to do it because of all those controls?
Well, you'll have to get him on. I'm only going by what his magazine said.
But you must understand what you read. How could he do it if we're not allowed to do it?
Well, I don't know. I'm not a big businessman.
No, well...
I was impressed with what he said.
But if you find 100 big businessmen, between 90 and 95 of them will tell you that we're making a terrible mistake. Why have you chosen to believe this businessman...
What about Mark Carney?
While not understanding what he's done.
Mark Carney has turned around. He was someone who said if we leave Europe we're going to go down the pan. But he's changed now.
He hasn't changed.
From what I've heard on's been reported on the radio.
Christine, again, he hasn't changed. And Mark Carney was the person the morning after the result who enacted economic policies specifically designed to minimise the impact of what he warned us against.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't agree with you. I really do
Which
not
bit
agree
don't
with
you
you,
agree
James.
with, Christine? Which bit don't you agree with?
I don't agree with the fact that we are not going to be able to trade with the rest of the world.
But you just heard this morning from the Secretary General of the International Chamber of Commerce for the UK. Of course, we'll still be able to trade, but it will cost us a lot more to do so, and we won't be able to trade freely come November the 1st with anybody. That's not an opinion, Christine. That's a matter of fact.
But haven't we heard a lot of things like this from a lot of these top people?
No.
And then they've turned round and said that this isn't going to happen and that's not going to happen.
Well, again, Christine, could you give me an example?
We were told
yes.
tablets, pharmacy. We weren't going to get this. We weren't going to get that. But
Christine, we haven't left.
No, but they are able to source from other places.
Yes, but not under free trade agreements.
Well, I think, I'm sorry.
Why do you keep saying sorry?
Well, no, all right, I don't apologise for wanting to be a Brexiteer. I don't.
But what do you think that means?
To get out of Europe.
What, I'm going to ask you again back to the original question. Do you understand now why what you said about Tim Martin was a bit silly?
No,
Okay, let me try again. The things
you will not get me to say that. You will not get me to say that.
Okay, well, not silly then. But do you understand that he did the things you described?
He went and he sourced other places
while we were still in the European Union.
Well,
so he could have done that.
He could have made a vote to come out.
Yes, but we're still in. So anything he has.
At the moment we are.
Yes, and he's done this thing that you describe in such impressive terms. This thing he's done that convinces you it's right that we should leave. He did it while we were in. Right.
Okay. How come we source all our metal to China if we're not allowed trade agreements?
Pardon?
If we're not allowed trade agreements for the rest of the world...
No, who said we're not allowed trade agreements?
Well, that's what you said is going to happen.
No, I said on November the 1st we won't have any. And well, I'm not an expert on metal trading, but I'm pretty sure we don't trade freely with China. Well, that there are tariffs in place.
Yes, but it hasn't harmed us, has it?
Pardon?
It hasn't harmed us having trade agreements with China.
We don't have any trade. We don't have any trade agreements with China.
Well, I'm sorry.
Why do you keep saying sorry, Christine?
Because you're getting annoyed at what I'm saying.
I'm not remotely annoyed.
I'm sorry if I'm upsetting you.
I'm not even upset, Christine. I'm just. I think the word I would use is
frustrated.
No, I feel incredibly sorry for you.
Well, you don't have to.
No, I know I don't have to.
I'm a very strong person.
I'm sure you are. But
I know you don't have to feel sorry for me, and you don't have to feel sorry for a lot of the people.
I know I don't have to. I choose to feel sorry for you because you have believed a farrago of lies, and you've come on the radio to explain that you voted for lots of people to lose their jobs because you lost yours.
No.
Yes.
No, I don't want people to lose their jobs, but
that's what's going to happen.
If we go forward, I'm sure that a lot of people will be proved wrong.
Right. But you realise these aren't opinions. These aren't November the 1st. We have no trade agreements. At the moment, we have agreements with 120 different countries.
And where? All in Europe?
Obviously not. The European Union has all sorts of trading agreements with countries outside the European Union, which is what we will be on November the 1st.
Well, I can't
what
see
do you
it
think
a lot of other people.
What do you think is going to get better?
We're going to have control of our country back.
What control of what, Christine? What's the thing we can't currently control that most frustrates you?
They've said a lot of different laws have had to change. I can't remember them now.
You must be able to name one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now this is a crazy one.
Yeah.
But we all used to have our fish and chips and newspaper. And then it was deemed it was wrong.
Right.
Now, when we had the fish and chips and newspaper, there wasn't loads of people went down with tummy upsets and things like that.
Okay.
It had a beautiful smell to it, and I can remember that smell now and how lovely it was.
Yeah.
But they decided, and this is a small thing.
And that was the EU, was it?
Yes, the EU.
Okay.
That was something they did. And I'm sorry, and I listened. I listened to the European Parliament, and I listened to some of the things they say should be done and shouldn't be done. I'll tell you what, we put billions into Europe. Do you see the schools and the health service any better?
Well, better than 1975.
In the poorer countries, in the poorer countries.
Better than 1975?
Yes.
You think things now are...
I would like to see them have decent schools and decent health.
Right.
But so nothing's gone into that.
So
that
taking away the money we pay in to the European Union is going to make there less money available for the poorer member countries, Christine, not more.
Well, they haven't made it available up till now, have they?
Well, I'm afraid they have. I mean, it's so easy to establish where this money is spent. The European Development Fund in particular.
All because they love what we've got over here, and I don't blame them for coming over here.
Then why have you voted to get rid of it all then?
Because I just feel, as a patriotic person for this country, and I'm talking about all the different...
But patriotism involves wanting what's best for your country.
Yeah. And
you voted to make it worse.
No, I don't think I have.
You have? Well, tell me what's going to be better then, apart from... Possibly we'll be allowed to wrap our fish and chips in newspaper again. Apart from that, what are you most looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to maybe not having so much immigration into the country.
Okay.
And I'm looking forward to having it controlled.
How did you feel when you found out that successive governments had chosen not to impose much stricter immigration regulations that they would be free to do as members of the European Union, as, for example, Belgium does? Well,
I'm sorry.
Why are you sorry again?
I'm not sorry.
No.
I'm not sorry.
There's a sense that you know you should be because you keep saying it, but just the thing.
It's just your.
But patriotism doesn't involve.
I should be guilty for things.
No, not at all. I'm giving you. Well, why? I mean, you think. Well, then you're not patriotic, are you? Because you voted to make everything worse.
No,
So what's going to get better?
Well, for a start.
Yes, apart from fish and chip paper.
No, for a start, we won't have such big lists on the National Health Service. That will probably start.
What about all the doctors and nurses from the European Union who are already leaving? Who do you think is going to replace them?
I've already got in place plans for that.
You have?
Yes.
You've got plans in place? Go back to
the old way of nursing that I learned.
Okay. Christine, you take care, all right?
Okay, we will beg to disagree.
No, we haven't disagreed. I've told you some stuff that's true, and you've told me about fish and chips.
Well,
there's no disagreement.
70 years old, I'm not. I can't go back into all the different things that have upset me.
No, just one would have done. I like fish and chips as well. I remember when it was wrapped in newspaper. I can't pretend I've ever felt it was a grave absence in the heart of British public life, but I would remind you, because I sense you use the word quite a lot, patriotism involves wanting your country to be the best it can be, not to impose economic sanctions on itself.